And welcome to the show. Great to be with you. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk Nutrition. Hope you're having a good day, wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show, and whatever you may be doing. And that whatever could be anything from getting ready to go to work, driving, making breakfast, and depending on the time of the day that you catch the show in your market, who knows what you're doing.
You got a new breakfast today. You started a new bagel.
Yeah, I stopped by Middle Eastern Bakery yesterday.
That Sammy's Bakery?
Yeah, in Tampa.
Okay.
Based on Dr. Bird's recommendation, I went in there. It's on Bush Boulevard here in Tampa. And I bought some items. The bread, high fiber, sometimes as much as 6 to 8 grams of fiber per serving. Some of the breads, hummus. Interesting. I bought a few items. Yeah, it looks like a good. That bakery's been around forever.
Really?
Yeah, here in Tampa, Middle Eastern.
You had it. Hold that up. I got the camera on you.
That bagel.
It
has about. I think it said 8 grams of fiber.
8 grams.
Yeah.
But we got Herba Prima on today, so.
Fiber's the deal. It's all about the fiber, the F word. Gary's here. That voice you hear is Gary Gilkey, one of the technical producers for the show and media manager. And you haven't heard her voice, but Katie's behind. You have a camera on her.
I do.
There's Katie. She's ever reliable. Katie, you can count on her to be here. That young woman has to go to bed at 8 o'clock at night to get up at 2:30 in the morning to get to work.
Every night. I'm very strict about my bedtime.
She told me, we were talking about that in the kitchen. She can't cheat because you just can't. You'll run out of. I told her you'll run out of runway. And she doesn't go out and party, and you can't. Not in this business. She has to. What time you go on air? Around 5?
Yeah, 5. Yep.
So she has to be alert.
Awake. Very awake. When I first started this job, I was not that strict about my bedtime, and I almost fell asleep once while driving, and I told myself never, ever again. Now I stick to my bedtime, and I'm very serious about going to bed at 8 o'clock.
It takes discipline to do that. And I said to her, your whole life changes when you do this kind of work because you're up so early. I mean, everybody else, you're in a different zone, everything's different for you. Right. So we count on Katie to be here. Katie is now part of the show. She works the board, and we're delighted to have her. I lobbied for her.
You did.
I wanted her here because I felt that she could make a contribution to the show for a lot of reasons. One, she's a woman, and I want that point of view around. And secondly, she's a couple of centuries younger than I am. So, and Gary. So we wanted somebody younger, female, a woman, and to represent that demographic.
I mean, you think of Moses as a guy in the Bible and your friend, because you're that old, and she thinks of Moses the rapper. So it's.
I dig that. Moses. I used to have a friend named Moses. So how are things going today, Moses? Are you in with the Almighty? Listen, can you put in my order? I got a couple of requests. That's a cool name, right? Can you imagine having a name Moses? Oh, my goodness. Moses. So there's so much going on in the news. I try to handle controversial topics in a rhetorically sensitive way. And if you notice, maybe it's what I don't talk about that you might be wondering what's going on there. I haven't talked much about the abortion issue because it's so politically charged, so religiously charged. Now, you have to understand my background. I was raised a Catholic. And as you well know, in the Catholic Church, abortion is not something that they encourage, if I can put it that way. So I grew up with that indoctrination. That being said, as I grew up, you get educated, you develop your ideas. I've come to believe that a woman, and this is my belief, you may disagree with it, but I have to tell you what my point of view is so I can report on this so you understand that my bias, and I admit my bias. I think women have the right and certainly the moral obligation to do what's right for them, their body, and who am I to dictate what a woman should do? And so I'm pro-choice. That doesn't mean that I think people should use abortion as contraception. Okay? And I think that it should be done only in those instances when a woman has to make that choice. I don't think there's any woman that wants to have that done. I just don't believe that. They may need to do that for whatever personal reasons, whatever medical reasons, whatever reason. That's none of my business. It's up to them to make that choice. And they have to deal with it. And it's not easy. Everybody thinks, a woman has an abortion and it's all over, it's done. There's a lot of aftershock, if you will. It's not easy for a woman to do that. And so that's my bias. So that's where I come out. That's the chute I jump out of. So and then people are entitled to their own point of view, and I respect those who disagree with that. And I bring this up because women who are denied abortions, there's a study now that when they're denied abortions, they may face long-lasting health problems, this new study asserts. And this was reported in the New York Times, and you can find it there, June 10th, Jamie Ducharme, in Time, not New York Times, in Time. When a woman is denied access to an abortion, research has suggested or shown that particular woman faces threats to her mental and financial well-being. A new study, it's published in the Annals of Internal Medicine, that is a very prestigious journal, suggests that her physical health may suffer as well. According to Dr. Lauren Ralph, an assistant professor of obstetrics, gynecology, and reproductive sciences at University of California, San Francisco, said, there's a good deal of research that shows in the short term having an abortion is much safer than childbirth, but there isn't much research over the long term. Our study demonstrates that having an abortion is not detrimental to women's health, but being denied access to a wanted one likely is. Close quote. Now, listen, you and I both know that this is such a complicated issue. It's political, it's religious, it's philosophical, it's moral. There's all kinds of elements involved in this issue. This is not an easy issue. But, it's even hard for me to talk about it on air because I don't want to alienate people. But a woman being denied an abortion who's been raped or, worse yet, by a relative, a father, a brother, incestual rape, and has to give birth to that baby, I don't know. If I were a woman, what would I do? That's how I always think about it.
Dietary supplements cost way too much. Not so at Vitamin Discount Center. Here's why. VDC sells leading national brands up to 50% off MSRP every day. Competitors' prices are matched for identical products with proof of price. If you're in the military or are a first responder, you get an additional 10% off VDC's already discounted prices. VDC even offers case discounts. And you can get connected with VDC's VIP mobile text program for additional savings and customer rewards throughout the month. The choice is clear. You can save at Vitamin Discount Center. For a store nearest you, visit vitamindiscountcenter.com or call 813-907-7066. That's 813-907-7066. Vitamin Discount Center. For life, for less.
Want to get at the core issues that make weight loss so difficult? Try PGX from Natural Factors. This revolutionary product is clinically shown to help people achieve their ideal body weight in a safe, natural way. PGX helps you feel full for hours, dramatically reduces the glycemic index of any food or meal, and ultimately causes the release of the compounds that achieve two important goals in weight loss. 1, telling your brain that you're satisfied so you eat less, and 2, improving the action of the hormone insulin. As medical doctor Mark Hyman said in his best-selling book Eat Fat, Get Thin, if you choose to use only one supplement, PGX is the most important. If you've ever tried to lose weight and failed, you need the tremendous support of PGX from Natural Factors. For more information on making your weight loss dream a near effortless reality, visit pgx.com.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by Jarrow Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Natural Factors, where great health begins. Kyolic, aging makes the finest garlic truly odorless. Celsius, live fit. Flora, 100 years of herbal wisdom. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garko.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Gary's going to post that study or the article, the story about the study. I couldn't get my mitts on the actual study in the Annals of Internal Medicine on how women being denied abortion may be detrimental to them in the long run, both to their physical health and their psycho-emotional health. The details of the study are reported in that story, and you can read it. I'll leave it to you to do that. I wanted to put it out there. It's a complicated issue. There are other issues that are very complicated and difficult to talk about on air without trying, I don't want to alienate people. Euthanasia is another one. I have a view about that. I've expressed that point of view. I think that people, when you are in end stage, I think, and the person is suffering, I just think that person has the right and to make the choice to have their passing facilitated. Now, many disagree with that. I understand. I get it. All I can tell you is that when I was very sick, there was one moment, and I'm just telling you, and I share these things. I'm very disclosive and I'm open. There was one moment, and I literally dropped to my knees, and I said to God, either take me or heal me. I was ready to go. And if it got to the point where the suffering was going to be that intense and continue, they're going to medicate me and put me into a stupor, I would rather die with dignity. And so I'm telling you from a personal experience, it's easy for people in the abstract to say, oh, you don't have the right. Until you're there, when you find yourself on your knees, asking God to either take your life or to heal you, you know you're in a bad spot. So I'm just sharing with you my view about it. I think you need to know my point of view. I hope you don't hold that against me. I don't like to alienate the audience. Understand that there are thousands of people that listen and watch this show. If we think the audience is like a glass of homogenized milk and everybody's the same, the audience is not. It's an audience constituted of people that have different points of view, values, beliefs, and attitudes. And what I try to do on this show and have done for 14 years, and anybody involved in the show, and I always tell them, you need to respect other people's point of view. I don't care if they yell at you, swear at you, disagree with you, you still respect their point of view. That's how I see it. So that's how we try to handle it on the show. And these are complicated issues: abortion, euthanasia. I don't run away from those issues. When the stories come up and studies come up about them, I'll report on them. And I just feel I'm not a coward, and I'm not going to run away from telling you what my point of view is. Even if you disagree with me, I still love you, and I respect your point of view. I just want you to know that.
I think it's interesting that you brought that up, because when I went to the cancer center with you.
Yes.
And I sat there in the lobby and I watched you get checked in, and then I went into the chemo room.
Yes.
Okay. And I was one of the few people that was not there for treatment.
Right.
I could probably count on my hand how many people went in there and supported their loved one. And one thing that I noticed when we were watching was that the older lady trying to do everything by herself.
Right. And
I just thought to myself, do I really want to be like that if it happens to me at that age?
We were sitting in the lobby, and I told Gary that day. I didn't give him any notice. I said, "You're coming with me today to my treatment, to the chemo room, which is a 4-hour treatment." As God would have it, we were sitting in the lobby, and this poor soul comes walking by, totally disoriented, skin and bones, holding papers. I can still see her holding papers in her hand, forms. I don't know what she was trying to do. And she walked by, and I nudged Gary, and I told him to look up and look. And we hadn't even gotten into the chemo room. And that was the introduction. And that woman was in a lot of trouble. Believe you me. When you see that kind of suffering, and then you get into that room where there are, dozens of people, sometimes 30, 40 people in that room, and you see it all. I saw terrible things there. I saw courageous things too. Mm-hmm. And if you don't think that has an effect on you, it was one of the things that changed me was my own pain and suffering. But the other thing that really influenced me forever was the pain and suffering of other people. I saw, you just see horrible things, and you can't help but be affected and think, I got to do something to make myself better, and if I make it, and be a better person here.
And it all goes to not only your mental health and your physical health, but the health of the caregivers too.
Hard. It's just as hard for a caregiver. You're right, Gary. In my case, there was no caregiver. I was by myself.
You had friends, but other than that, it was just you.
Every day, night and day. And I remember one day we were on air, and you asked me, and you said, what's the hardest thing you've had to deal with in all of this? And I said, being alone. Mm-hmm. I said, I wouldn't recommend